Well. Music.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It is your favorite Monday night sports talk show right here on Facebook Live. And that is Dr. Oui E Talk Sports, where we give you the sports information that will make you smarter at the water cooler. So we're in the off season. We're in the NFL off season. There's still a lot of buzz. We're going to talk about what's going on with Ron Rodgers. We're going to talk about the draft. We got, are people jerking Shadure around? What's really going on? Any other NFL news? We're also going to talk about the national championship is tonight for NCAA March Madness. It ends tonight, even though it's April, so it kind of feels weird to call
Yeah.
But it's April. It's April 7th. But the show, the game is on tonight. That's Houston and Florida. After Duke had that collapse late in that game. I watched it. I could not believe it. If I didn't watch it, I would not have believed it.
I couldn't believe it either.
Because Duke was in so much.
I would have bet I would have lost money.
So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. And we're going to
talk about the women's game.
The women, right? And so Paige Becker really, as much as I pull for Don Staley, I was fully in. But I said before that game started, I said, South Carolina does not have enough scorers on their team. And UConn, you can get 20 plus points from anybody in their starting five.
Sure.
Everybody in their starting five can give you 20. Beckers can give you 40. So you can't guard all five positions. You got to have, and they just couldn't match them with the scoring.
They didn't. I wanted it to be a closer game, but I'm not happy. I mean, I'm happy for Paige, but I didn't want the blowout was in. It would have been worse.
When I saw it turning, I had to turn away from it because it started to get ugly. And I was like, you know what? I just
wanted it to be closer. I knew they weren't gonna come back, but I just wanted it to be a closer final.
Yeah, and I felt all of Dawn's pain on that bench when that game was getting out of hand. I felt all of her pain. Like it was like when you watch your team lose like that, and there's nothing you could do about it. Knowing how competitive she is and knowing how good of a player she was, that probably was just still eating away. She probably didn't sleep well last night.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she probably won't until next season. They're gonna come back strong now.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they made it to the national championship game and they had by their standards, a subpar season, just shows how good of a coach she is, right? Because when you think about, they only you have Full Wiley and Pow Pow. Those are the only two players that people kind of knew. The rest of them were.
Yeah, I really didn't know the players that well.
Obviously, I really think that I think USC would have beaten UConn if they had Juju, because Juju's she's a different animal in and of herself, and so But I don't take it. I'm not saying that to take anything away from UConn. UConn is a fantastic team. Gina Auriemma is a great coach. Even after Paige Becker is the number one pick in the WNBA draft of the week. That freshman young lady is fantastic. That team is in good hands.
She is.
And so, the senior point guard is coming back, so she's not even going to the WNBA. She's like, I'm good. I'm staying here and do my last year eligibility, which says she's probably getting a good little chunk of NIL money, and And so she's like, there's no point in going to WNBA making $250,000 a year when I can make more than in college. And so, and Paige Beckers is going to make money anyway because she's already
with endorsements.
Yeah, she can get endorsements. So, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm discounting what UConn did. I was just more pulling for.
I was still done, but I've said I would be mad because Paige, I like Paige, and I always cheer for people when they come back from injury, so I'm not mad. I don't hate like some people do.
Yeah. I think, and they haven't won a title since what, 2016,
9 years. You say 9 years.
So Dawn has got a nice little thing going there. What I love about the women's game is there are multiple schools that have shots.
Yeah, UCLA, like back in the day, it was 2.
Yes.
UConn and what?
In Tennessee. Yeah. Now you've got UConn, Texas, USC, both USC, Southern California and South Carolina. You've got multiple teams. LSU, forgot about LSU.
Yeah.
LSU is a good thing. So, like, you're getting Notre Dame had a good run. They've got the young lady at Notre Dame. So you're seeing the game, college, women's college basketball game get better because not all of them are going to UConn, and not all of them are going to Pat Summitt when she was at Tennessee. They're going other places, and they're making these other programs good. And with the transfer portal, they're able to pull, good players from smaller schools to come, or even from other schools that are off the bench to come and play. Now you're seeing, I think an argument could be made that the best, the sport that has benefited the most from the transfer portal is women's college basketball. An argument could be made for that because it has elevated the top programs, and nobody's really caring about mid-majors in women's college basketball, right? It's about the big programs, and as long as the big programs stay relevant and they beat each other, and you're showing that there's an evening out of competition, that's going to really help the sport. And now we know the names of those players.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and people are watching, and people continue watching in the WNBA to follow players.
Yeah, I mean that's what the NBA was built off of. Guys going to college, making their name in college, and then we watch them in the pros. When they started bypassing college or the one and done, we don't really get a chance to fall in love with them.
You don't know the people in the draft.
No, we watched Tim Duncan for 4 years at Wake Forest. You know what I'm saying? We watched Grant Hill at Duke. We watch a lot of these players, and so when you see them now, when they get to the pros, you're like, oh, I'm following them. Now you're like, who is this dude?
Especially if they don't make it to like the finals in the NCAA.
We're just now getting to understand. Like, I remember the twins from the draft a couple years ago. Amin. Yeah. They're now playing really, really well for Detroit and
I forgot what the other one went.
Houston. They're playing really good basketball, but now it just took them a year or two to get there. Cade Cunningham, when he came out a couple of years ago, he's playing really well in Detroit. But it was like you have to be a basketball lover to recognize those guys that came out a year or two ago that are now cutting their teeth in the NBA. Whereas it was just easier to know, hey, that's why what's your boy New Orleans, the dunk from Duke.
You talking about Zion?
Zion. He had a real opportunity because we knew who he was. And then he got injured and then he fell off. But if he had been able to stay healthy, he would have been one of the faces of the NBA because we knew him. And that's as simple as that. We knew who Zion was. We're going to know who this white kid now coming out, Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg, he's a real deal though.
He is.
He's a real deal. He missed that last shot. That last shot is gonna hurt him.
But even if he would have made that shot though, would they have won? That one shot though? But they missed. It was a whole.
They missed free throws. That could have iced that
free
game.
throws, yeah. And I'm like, dude. And then that foul was bogus. I think they called on him, but they wouldn't have won the game regardless. So
yeah, the momentum has shifted so much. Maybe he could have gotten a little bit back, at least because if they'd gone to overtime,
yeah,
it gives you 5 more minutes to try to change the momentum again. But when he missed that shot,
Duke not used to being in that pressure class because they've been winning. And Houston is like just steady.
Houston had more grit.
Because I don't really watch them, but I was talking to somebody and like they usually are like our second quarter team or whatever. They come back.
Yeah, I think you know.
But Duke had to help him out a little bit. It wasn't all Houston though, with the mistakes.
Yeah, Luke did such a wonderful Duke was they should not have lost that game.
I mean, everybody was like, Houston's not coming back. I'm like, it's close, but Duke gonna win. But Duke's gonna win. I'm like, it's close. This is a good game, but Duke's gonna win. But I was like, wow. When they missed those shots and they didn't get any offensive rebounds, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I think it was just I felt for them, but I'm like, I was pulling for Houston anyway. I want Kelvin Sampson to win a national championship. I'm pulling for Houston tonight, even though I don't think.
Do you think Florida gonna win?
Florida has a really good team.
They do.
A lot of people predicted them to win the national championship before the season even began, and when they had that scare when they went to overtime with UConn and they won that game, I was like, I don't see anybody else that can beat them. Houston does not have a lot of offense. And early in that Duke game, I was like, and if it wasn't for a miraculous comeback, they should have lost that game.
They should have.
I don't know if they can do that back to back. They're going to have to hit some shots tonight, and I just don't know if they have enough. But I'm pulling for them, whether they do or they don't. I'm still pulling.
Although I'm like, I am too, just because.
Yeah, I like it's a black coach, black team.
Yeah, basically.
So go for it.
They look like grown men. A lot of their players. I was like, they in college.
Well, I mean, transfer portals got and NIL has gotten because NIL money is shifted towards football and college basketball, men's college basketball. So, I mean, I personally know players in college basketball that aren't even NBA prospects that are getting $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 in NIL. So why would I'm staying 5 years if I'm gonna get that kind of money and I'm gonna transfer. If another school says we got 800,000, I'm getting in the portal. So you can make more money and you're going to be stateside versus going overseas and trying to make that money.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but that's holding, that's taking up spots for guys that are in high school. So it is backing up their shot of playing college basketball at a better program. So now they have to go to mid-majors, right? So that's where the mid-majors are going to fill up. And the JUCOs and mid-majors, they're going to fill up because the D1 programs are filled with, 4 and 5 year guys, 6-year guys. And that's what Houston is built off of. 5, 6-year guys.
Yeah, that's why they look. That's why they look. Some of them look grown.
I was calling the dude that had the side braids. I was calling him. He looked like.
He really looked like a grown man.
He looked like Cujo Goody. I'm like Cujo Goody. You need to get a paternity test.
And that's got to do with the sideburns.
Yes. So like they look like grown ass men. They are like they got grown bodies, and so, but they're like 23. Some of them are 23 years old. So yeah. But this is the apex of their basketball career.
Right? I want them to win. It'll be a nice Cinderella story, even though they're number one, but still. That was upset, even though they both were ranked. That was
They
upset.
were both top seeds, but none of these guys are going to the NBA on Houston's team. So them winning the national
This is
championship,
their spot. This is their moment.
this their moment.
Their
Like they
moment.
say, one shining moment. This is their one shining moment.
Their moment. But I heard that everybody thought Duke was going. They didn't even have the championship stuff ready when they won Houston.
I'm sure. Thankfully, it was a semifinal, so they didn't need it as much as they do tonight. They better have both tonight. They better have both shirts tonight. I know everybody has Crown Florida, but you got to win the game. Okay.
You do.
So
I don't want Florida to win. I don't want Florida to win.
I don't either, but
That's because I'm not a big fan of Florida in general.
no, I'm not. Nobody. I mean,
Although I love Joakim. That might be the only player I love from Florida.
I know, and I have an affinity for the University of Florida because I had a lot of my high school classmates that went there. I know guys that played football and basketball at the University of Florida, and I respect them. I know guys that went to Florida for law school. I know a lot of people that went to the University of Florida. That don't mean I have to pull for them. So I'll pull up for you tonight. Get mad at me if you want to. I'm sorry.
We'll see. I won't be hurt either way, but I am. Well, actually, I was pulling for Duke. I don't even know why. I don't even like Duke. I like Coach K, which is no longer there. So.
I think there would have been more. Now the women's game, they did the women dirty by putting their game on at 3:00 on a Sunday. I thought that was dirty.
You thought they needed to be prime time?
They needed to at least be prime time. But they gave them ABC, but I still think they should be prime time. But I would have, with Duke not being in the game, I think the ratings are going to take a hit.
You think so?
Yeah, because people are going to expect Florida to win, so they may not watch it. If it was Duke versus Florida, I think the viewership would have been really, really high. I think they could have broken something. Now, the ratings so far for this tournament has been really, really good. But in the championship game, Houston, a non-offensive team that you don't know any of their players' names, versus University of Florida, you know a couple of their players. We know Duke players, but we don't really know the University of Florida players. That's what's going to, I may watch.
It may. But I think this year with the men, since there's no Cinderella stories and all number one seed, it's good basketball. I mean, I guess you got to be a purist basketball versus just regular tournament basketball.
I'm a tournament basketball guy. I'm if the game starts getting out of hand, I'm like, woo.
Well, yeah. I don't think. It might. You never know. It might get out of hand tonight.
I don't have a rooting interest in either one of these teams, and so that's what I'm like.
That's true. I didn't realize there were as many Houston fans as so the people were like, I was like, okay, So
all right. So Flake, that's what my band.
Well, Flake, he know me. Me and him get into little discussions about football all the time. His Chiefs fandom.
So we opened the show talking about basketball because the game is the national championship.
Right, it's on in 15 minutes.
And the women played yesterday. That's why we opened the show talking about basketball. But thank you for that shift, Flakes. Thank you for the shift. All right. So what is your theory on why Aaron has not signed with the Pistons?
Because it's Aaron Rodgers, he like drama. I really, he like drama. He go at least to after the draft. You're not gonna know to after the draft, but he might prolong it a little bit longer. I don't think it's Minnesota.
Minnesota's not one Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's just him being dramatic.
Here's what I think. I think they're going to hold. I think he's going to hold Pittsburgh hostage for two reasons. Number one, he's waiting to see if they draft a quarterback.
But if they do, he got 2 years at the most. He got 2 years at the most. They need a quarterback.
Here's what he doesn't want to hear. If he starts having bad games and they draft the first round quarterback, let's say
if Shadure drops.
if Shadure drops and they draft Shadure and he has a couple of bad games, what are we going to hear in the media? Should you go to Shadure? Should we go to Shadure? Is it time to go to Shadure? Aaron's not playing well. He doesn't want to hear that. But if you got Duck Dodgers behind him, what's the boy name? I don't know what the boy name. And if you and so he wants a space. I think he wants a space that is completely his because that gives him more leverage.
But if he don't go with them, no one else has offered him. Is he gonna retire, chill until next year? I mean, he's old, so
he knows he's got Pittsburgh
or what?
Every single day that gets closer to the draft, he knows he has Pittsburgh over a barrel. And if Pittsburgh doesn't draft a quarterback in that first round, and they're drafting like 21st overall,
unless they do some trades or whatever,
they're gonna have to do some trades either to move up, or they gotta hope Shadure falls to where they can get close enough to move up from like if Shadure falls, I would just say like 14 or 15, then you could move up those slots to trade up. But if he's still in the top 10,
I don't think
that's too much of a price to pay.
I don't think he's gonna fall that low, but I don't think he gonna go in the top 5.
He could. He should.
He should, but like who's gonna take him out of the top 5?
Well, you got two teams that need a quarterback, and that's Cleveland and the Giants.
Yeah, but I think Cleveland is either going to go defense. They're either going to get that guy from Penn State, or they're going to get Travis Hunter. I think. And one is going to be Cam.
But who's their quarterback?
Well, I understand, but I don't think they're going to pick one because they owe all this money to Watson.
Now, Cleveland's plan could be this.
But I think Kirk Cousins, I heard they might be trying to get him.
They may be trying to get Kirk Cousins. They may be saying, if we're terrible this year, we'll be in the top of next year's draft. We'll have Abdul Carter, who is a great bookend to your already all-pro defensive end. So now your defense is going to improve. And if Arch Manning comes out next year, you got a shot of getting Arch Manning.
Yeah. I don't think
that's the only thing that makes sense for Cleveland if they don't draft a quarterback. And really, but I think Kevin O'Connell's offense is, if you want to take Kirk Cousins, you should take Shadure Sanders. Shadure Sanders is an upgraded version of Kirk Cousins, and he's going to be cheaper, right?
I just don't. I don't think they're going to pick him. I don't.
I don't think they're going to pick him either. I'm just saying that if you're a team that you know you need a quarterback, and your hope is Kirk Cousins, why wouldn't you take Shadure Sanders? Shadure Sanders has a younger arm.
If I was Shadure, I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland either. I mean, or Dion, I wouldn't want him in Cleveland.
Wait. Cleveland has a great offensive coach. They
always mess up quarterback.
They had a quarterback that was worth a damn. Because Flacco came in there and took him to the playoffs.
I agree, but just the Browns. They mess up quarterbacks. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust the Giants either if I was them. I wouldn't want to go there either.
They pay though. I think.
Yeah,
I agree. Cleveland as an organization is terrible.
The Giants either.
Exactly, because it's ownership.
Yeah.
So the only other spot that they have been talking about Shadure going to is the Raiders. And
or if he drops going to the Saints, I heard that's a possibility.
The ownership in the Raiders are picking 6. The ownership of the Raiders is terrible.
Tom Brady is one of the co-owners. He might add a little sense to the mix.
Maybe he can add some sense to the mix. And then I
do like Pete Carroll, even though he's old.
You've got Pete Carroll, who in all of his years with the Seahawks, the defense has been fine, but the offensive line has been not so good.
Oh, yeah. Gino was running for his little life.
And they brought in your boy from Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator.
You're talking about what's his name? That was at UCLA.
Yes.
I don't like, yeah.
So he's your offensive coordinator. You've got, I think the Raiders makes a lot of sense for Shadure because he can sit for a year behind Geno.
You know,
They are similar quarterbacks in terms of not being super athletic.
and they've had bad offensive line because Shadure
bad offensive line, and Shadure knows how to play behind a bad offensive line. That's another reason why I would want Shadure, especially for the Giants. They've got one good offensive lineman, left tackle.
I don't want to go to that.
But I'm like, you need a quarterback that is okay, that can take that. Because remember, he's only in 3 years behind bad offensive lines the entire college career. He's only missed one game. Durability, he's accurate even with a bad offensive line.
Yeah, see, he gets the ball out of his hand. I mean,
he throws with anticipation, like, and touch. So they're like, he is a bigger, stronger version of Tua Tagovailoa. Right? He's not
fragile.
He's not fragile, right? He's durable. So the best ability is availability. He checks all those boxes. I think the thing that's hurting him is his name.
His dad. And he's confident. He's too confident for the powers that be.
Him showing that watch every time.
Well, I think because he's very confident, and that too. I was like, well, I didn't get it, but I think that rubs some people away. It's like he don't need the NFL. Like some people coming out in the draft. I'm like, if he lived a normal life and went to college or whatever, you know, and worked on whatever, he'll be all right. He got money. He don't need the NFL, even though he wants to play for the NFL.
I think this is remnants to. I think this is like the residual effects. Like everybody's gotten used to having black quarterbacks now, but I think this is one of those residual effects of him being a black quarterback. That is like, if he doesn't show the right amount of humility, then.
But he's not. But if he was, say, Archie Manning with a confident, wouldn't nobody be saying anything about his confidence.
Yeah. Oh, they would have been singing his praise. Oh, he's got swag. Because remember, I'm gonna give you a name, that Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield always been
serious attitude issues.
Mm-hmm. Always been full of himself.
Yes. And guess what?
Johnny Manziel too, even though he wasn't great.
And both of them got drafted in the top 5. I think both were drafted number 1 overall by Cleveland. So, Cleveland, you're the clock.
I don't think they're gonna pick Shadure, but I might be wrong. You know, there's always some surprises during the draft.
I think Shadure will go in the top 10. I think the best spot for him,
Raiders, you think?
Is the Raiders. Because did New Orleans get a new head coach? Who did they hire as head coach?
Kellen Moore, our offensive coordinator.
New Orleans, you know.
New Orleans is a quarterback. If he drops,
I'm always a fan of quarterbacks going to an offensive head coach.
Yeah, I think he's I think he will be a good. I mean, they've had good defense. I don't know if they still have good defense. New Orleans.
Rookie quarterbacks need to go to an offensive head coach.
Or unless they have a good offensive coordinator like Texas.
Yes.
CJ was in a good spot.
Yes. Slovic was a great offensive coordinator. And his head coach is smart enough to know to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, they did trade away his best offensive lineman, Laramie Tunsil, but Laramie was also the most penalized offensive lineman. So how good, you know, his bad may have outweighed his good. And the price tag is not worth, you know, the amount of penalties.
Yeah. And they probably got plenty of picks for him.
Yeah. And so that's the one thing. And Washington was willing to pay him a king's ransom, so they went ahead and let him go. But I do think that in a macro sense, I think Shadure would do better by going to an offensive head coach. And of the teams that need quarterbacks, New Orleans is the only one with an offensive head coach. Well, no.
Giants. Well, the Giants. But the Giants. Mm-hmm. I like Dayball.
Cleveland has an offensive head coach too.
I do like the coach.
Three have him up, you know, Kevin Stefanski, Brian Daboll, and Kellen Moore. All three are offensive head coaches. But what the rumor mill is saying that New Orleans likes the kid out of Jackson Dart or the
Correct.
kid out of Louisville, Tyler Slaw.
So they would pick him over Shadure or him.
Allegedly.
Yeah, if
Now,
he
I
dropped.
think that if Shadure drops to them, they would have to make a decision. But in terms of what coaches, I think I look at quarterbacks like a cupcake.
Okay.
Right. So this is something for your water cooler. Look at a quarterback like a cupcake. The substance of a cupcake is the actual cake itself.
Not nice.
What people get sucked into is the icing.
That's true.
And the icing is he's got a rocket for an arm. The icing is he's a wizard when he's running with the ball. That's icing. The substance of a quarterback is, does he process quickly? Is he accurate? And can he make all the throws?
Yeah. Now it seems like they like the ones that move a little that move.
He moves well enough
Yeah.
to get out of trouble because he had to play behind bad offensive lines his whole career. So he moves well enough. So, and does he throw the ball with touch and accuracy? 74% of his passes were completed even behind a bad offensive line. Did he look for Travis Hunter too much? Yes, but when he's the best athlete on the field, why wouldn't you look for your best athlete? Ask Tua Tagovailoa.
And then the fact that his offensive line is back, and like he got to make quick decisions.
Yeah. Ask Tua how much he looks for Cheetah.
Yeah, I'm not like throw it up. He gonna get it.
He gonna go get it. Like every quarterback looks for their best receiver. What you mean? The Minnesota quarterback. How many times you look for Justin Jefferson? Justin Jefferson, the first read, no matter what the play goes there. I'm looking for Justin. So that part, I'm like, that's an excuse. That's a bullshit.
They don't like his confidence.
Right. They don't like his confidence. And they don't like the fact that he's making more money than
they don't like Deion is his dad. They might not like Deion.
And Deion, they got a good axe to grind with Deion, and the fact that this college kid has been making more money than them for the past 3 years of his life. Yeah. As an NFL analyst, you make an X amount, and this kid making $5 million, $10 million a year. And enjoy. Yeah. Get over it. Get over it. Let it go. Like, do better. If you want blame your mama and your daddy. Don't blame him.
Yeah, I know.
Your daddy should have got one somebody more athletic, or your mama should have got one somebody more athletic. That's just really what it boils down to.
Although some of Deion's little, money is not related to what he did on the field. Not that he was great, but some of that's his personality and
yeah. I mean, he talked his way into getting a big contract.
Yeah,
he talked and he personalitied his way into being a higher draft pick as a cornerback coming out of Florida State. And he talked his way, but he also played his way into getting that money.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, yeah.
Because he played multiple positions. He was a kick returner and a DB, and he could shut down. I mean, and then what really flipped it was, Atlanta was desperate. He made the money in Atlanta. The 49ers couldn't get past the Cowboys. So they bring in Deion. They win a Super Bowl. He get that check. The Cowboys realized, oh, we need him. So then they paid him. And he probably
He played the game well.
Yeah.
On and off the field.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at Deion for doing that. So I just don't know. Ultimately, I think the talking heads and the scouts are really doing Shadure a disservice.
It may be good because dropping may be good for him, even though it's better team,
The more he drops, the better the team is. And I think,
And at the end of the day, who remembers high draft picks if they bust, You remember? Yeah.
I remember Achilles Smith though. Cincinnati.
Yeah. But so
You
you want a good career, you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, you want to do all of that.
I remember Ryan Leaf.
Do you? I remember the name.
Chargers.
I remember the name.
You on the clock? Ryan Leaf was up against. They were talking about him or Peyton Manning being the #1 overall pick because Ryan Leaf had one good year. Same thing with Achilles Smith, one good year, and that's where I'm like, Zach Wilson was another bust, and I'm like, and I've got receipts on Facebook. So if you dispute whatever, go look. Now, Justin Fields didn't turn out to be as good as I thought he could have been.
No, but I don't. I mean, some of that's on him, but some of that's on where he went. See, that's why a quarterback need to go to a good place where he can develop.
That's why I want him. That's why I'd rather him go to New York, Cleveland, or New Orleans, offensive head coach, because they're going to be invested in his development.
Well, true, but they want to keep their job in New York, particularly. But I just don't trust them.
I trust Brian Daboll because remember when Brian
Daboll, but I don't trust the GM.
I don't trust the GM because he got rid of Saquon and gave $40 million to a bum.
Danny Dimes. Where is he now?
He was in Minnesota. Now he's in Tennessee competing for the job. No.
He's in Colts.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Competing against another one-hit wonder at
Someone him to do well. The Florida guy.
I did, but he was another one-hit wonder. 1 year, and he is the antithesis of Shadure Sanders. He's got all the skills. Big arm, could run, strong, could jump out the gym.
Yeah. Stay hurt.
But he can't make the easy plays.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the pounding plays. He's not accurate as a thrower. He runs
quickly.
He runs. So he's the opposite end of the spectrum from Shadure Sanders. And look where that got Anthony Richardson. They brought in Danny Dimes to compete with you when there's no reason why that bum should be competing with you.
No.
Well, because you can't hit the screen pass. You can't take the check down. You can't throw the crossing route. You can't throw that deep out over the corner and drop it in the bucket because you can't make NFL level throws. Now you got Danny Dimes competing for your job. And you got benched because you tapped yourself out of a game because you got tired.
That was bad. Although I really do want him to do
one-hit wonders don't make it in the NFL. But look at Shadure. Jackson State to Colorado, and Colorado first year was terrible. They got better. Guess what? Second year, they were able to play a little bit better defense, and look what happened.
And he's going to put in the time and the work, even though people have his attitude. Because Deion going to curse him out if he don't, for one. But
here's the thing that people don't realize about Deion, and all of his teammates say this, and the media completely walks past this. I don't. You know what all his teammates say about Deion? They said he was the most voracious film studier. They said he worked harder than anybody we ever knew. Now, all we saw was the flow and the bravado and the big talk and all the stuff and the highlights on the field. But they said the reason why he was able to do that is because he worked hard. And I think Shadure is that same way.
Yeah.
He's following in his father's footsteps. And I'm like, 75% completion percentage. Josh Allen was like a 54% completion percentage in college.
Yeah, and Josh Allen's first year wasn't great. So,
first year was
terrible to develop. And
Cam Newton never had more than a 63% completion percentage, even when they went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
This one was coming out 75% completion percentage behind a bum offensive line. Now, he throws with touch, anticipation, and accuracy. The cake of the cupcake. The icing is, can he throw it through a car wash and not let the ball get wet? The icing is, can he run like Lamar Jackson? That's all icing.
Yeah. But you don't really need that.
What do offensive coordinators want? I want you to run the play, throw the ball accurately with touch.
Yeah. And don't play all this hero ball all the time.
Don't play hero ball. You know what a great place would have been?
That's what's wrong with Caleb. We'll see if he was better next year.
You know what a great place would have been for him?
Where?
Denver, but they already got the quarterback.
Yeah, I like him. Actually, I would agree with that.
I like him better with them.
If you would have got along with Sean Payton, if they wouldn't bump heads.
I really think Shadure is coachable. I think we don't know that because he's.
I don't think it's him. Sean might have. Sometimes coaches have problems with because he didn't get along with Russell for no reason.
Russell's a kook though.
Russell. I like Russell, but I'm just saying he might not like Shadure. He might not like Shadure for whatever reason.
As my niece would say, Russell is weird. I
like Russell.
I don't.
I like Russell. He's kind of corny, but I like him.
He's extra corny.
I like him. I like corny people sometimes. He's a good.
I think the thing that Sean Payton didn't like was he didn't even have fire behind the scenes. You could be corny on the mic, that's fine.
But that's who he is.
But if that's who you are, like he wants a quarterback to cuss back at him a little bit.
Yeah, that's not Russell though. That's not who he is.
But he liked that from Bo Nix. Bo Nix cussed back at him.
But see, Bo Nix, that's different too, though.
So I think I'm not a fan of Russell Wilson.
He might be getting older, but I love Russell. I like Jameis. Picks. I love Jameis too.
What I would want to see is him get drafted by New York, the Giants, and have him, Russell Wilson, and James Winston in the same quarterback room.
That would be entertaining. Entertaining. I can't wait till Jameis retires and actually in the media. He is hilarious.
I would pay money to be in that quarterback room. I would pay good money to see Shadure, Russell,
Jameis and Russell. That's interesting combination. They're so different.
Oh my God,
totally different. But I love Jameis is hilarious. I didn't realize how funny he was.
He definitely he's funnier than he was good at. No, I take it back. Jameis was a good quarterback. Jameis just
he needed, like he said, God needed to deliver him. I thought that was funny from pick sixes. If he didn't throw the ball to the other team, he would be a great quarterback. He got a strong arm.
That's like saying if I didn't have a penis, I'd be a woman. Like, what you mean? What you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
I'm just saying, Jameis, if he didn't turn the ball over so much, he remind me of Brett, even though like Favre, because he threw a picks every now and then now.
But did he throw 30 in one season?
No, I'm just saying that he reminds. If someone could help him, maybe Dayball might help him a little bit. If somebody could help,
I love Jameis Winston. I love him. But even Sean Payton, when he had him, he reeled him in a little bit. He did. But ultimately,
Dayball might help him. But who knows what the Giants are going to be?
Ultimately, Jameis going Jameis.
Did they get rid of what's his name, the Italian guy?
No, he's right now. He's still on the roster because it's him, it's Russell James and Tommy DeVito. But tell you, Tommy knows that if they draft a quarterback, he's going to the practice squad or cut. I mean, that's really he could be the practice squad quarterback out of respect. But yeah, they know he's not going to be on the active roster if they draft a quarterback. The Giants have painted themselves into a corner because the GM and the coach knows they have to win this year in order to save their jobs.
No, but if they get
the likelihood of them having a rookie quarterback, even though it's happened the last 2 years, Houston did it.
Yeah, I don't think Shadure is going to be that guy.
The Commanders did it. And the thing is, do you believe Shadure can be that quarterback? Now, Brian Daboll, to me, is a better offensive mind than what Washington and what Houston had. But
I agree. Well, but
Shadure is the third rated quarterback of the Washington quarterback and the Houston quarterback. I would take CJ and Jaden
yeah,
over
and then the rest
Shadure
of you had to think about the rest.
7 days a week. So it's like you get the best coach, but the worst quarterback. Does that balance out? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then I don't think like you say Shadure is CJ, Shadure is Daniels.
Yeah. He can't touch either one of those. Because CJ is more athletic than people give him credit for. He just never had to do it, but he's got just as much touch and accuracy. He reads defenses very well, and he's a leader. Like he's got the humility
Yeah.
that you want from your quarterback.
Yeah.
To defer to other, like, because Shadure has thrown his teammates under the bus from time to time in his interviews. I've never seen CJ do that, even when they were the reason why they lost.
That's true.
And so, as a head coach, that's what I want as a quarterback, right? Because I need him to be a leader, and leaders don't throw their teammates under the bus.
Well, yeah, you can't do that as a quarterback. Well, you shouldn't. Aaron Rodgers has, but you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't, because even like when Lamar could have thrown his tight end under the bus for dropping that pass in that playoff game.
Yeah, because that was his fault.
He did, and it was definitely Mark Andrews was a big reason why they lost. He wasn't the reason why they lost, but he contributed greatly to the fumble and the drop pass. Are two plays that really helped contribute to their loss in a significant way. So, but Lamar just said, I got to play better. And that's what you need from a quarterback, right? That's what you want. I don't know. Shadure hasn't shown he would have gone to the microphone and be like, if we could catch some passes.
I don't, well, hopefully someone will give him better PR media training than that. And he'll be receptive to it.
Yeah. But, all teams have PR.
Yeah, some people don't listen, but like Aaron Rodgers.
And you saw how what's your boy in Tampa now? Baker Mayfield was terrible on the mic.
But he's good now.
Now he's good. He finally matured. But when he first came out,
life humbled him a little bit though.
Oh, he was terrible on the mic.
Yeah.
But NFL humbled him.
Yeah.
In a big way. But yeah, he was terrible on the mic, when he first came out.
Now it seems like they love him with his teammates. With the way they talk about him. Like he's a team player.
Now. I love him too. I think he has earned he's earned it, and he's had some off the field issues with families stealing money from him and things of that nature. That's really and situation with his wife and all this other stuff. I feel for Baker and I pull for him now, even though he plays for the Bucs.
I know he's yeah.
I want him to be successful. I
think he's worked hard and I like he got the little bravado. I like that like the little fire in him.
Keep the fire, but get rid of the bro dude, right? Like don't be frat dude. And he was frat dude coming out of college. Now he's confident and he's cocky.
In the right way.
In the right way, right? You have to be confident to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
But don't be frat dude. And he was frat dude when he came out. And that doesn't work. That didn't work. It didn't work.
While Cleveland, I think Cleveland ruins quarterbacks.
No, I think I like Stefanski. Remember Stefanski?
I do like the coach, but I'm just saying
it's a better organization. The owner is and you're right. Fish stinks from the head. And the owner makes bad decisions because the owner gave.
So that messes up the money and like.
Yeah, the owner gave Deshaun Watson that contract. The owner gave $41 million to the defensive end. The owner is like, the owner is making bad decisions, and it's painting the team in a situation where they're financially strapped.
Yeah. The coach I like.
But Stefanski is a great coach.
Yeah, coach of the year took Flacco.
And if he gets on the job market, I guarantee you he would get hired immediately.
Oh yeah.
Either being the highest paid offensive coordinator or another head coaching job.
Oh, I agree. But it's a bad organization, like the Cowboys. I mean, it's organization, and it ain't it's the Bears too. That's why I don't trust them, even with good coaches.
They had the best coach I've seen in a while.
We'll see what they do. I don't trust them.
Let's see how they do. And they did the right thing. The Bears have done the right thing in terms of getting a center and guard, shoring up the middle of that offensive line. That tells me that Ben Johnson is running that team. And he's telling the GM what he needs. And the GM is listening. And so that says, now.
Although my friends claim that they're going to the Super Bowl.
All the excuses now, they ain't going to the Super Bowl.
I know they're not. I'm just like you're delusional like the Cowboys. But I'm just telling you what I've heard from my Bears.
This year is a referendum on can Caleb Williams play or not. Because if he shores up the interior of that offensive line, they've got a good running back. They got two good running backs. We know they got a good tight end and two good receivers. And they got a solid defense. Even if they don't win games, they need the games that they lose, they should be scoring 25 plus a game. And they should be consistently over 300 yards of offense per game. If they're not, that's on the quarterback. That's on the quarterback.
We'll see.
Barring minus injury.
I don't trust the Bears. We'll see. I wish that for my Bears friends, but I don't trust them.
Because they got a couple of good defensive linemen, so they can put pressure on the quarterback. They got a couple of good corners. I mean, they need another cornerback and maybe a safety. But the defense is solid. They play solid defense. And if they don't have to play so many plays because the offense is going 3 and out, if you can have a defense that can play fewer plays, they can play into the fourth quarter and not let go of the rope. They've been tight. I told you 60 plays. Once you get over 60 plays, they get out of gas. And they were playing consistently more than that because the offense was going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, or turning the ball over. So like now, all right. And when they talk to the heck of Ben Johnson, he's already saying the right stuff. Don't make the negative plays. Make the play. If the big play's out there, check it or give me an incompletion. Don't force a play. Don't hold on to the ball. Don't get sacked. Sacks is a killer. Sacks are sometimes worse than an interception, depending on where it is. Where it is on the field. So sack can take you out of field goal range. The sack can do so much. An interception could just be like a punt. You know, if it's 3rd and long and you throw it down the field and they pick it off, okay, that's just a punt. No, a sack could be a drive killer. It could do a whole lot. It's a momentum shifter. It's a whole lot. So I hope he gets in Caleb Williams' head. But Caleb Williams has had freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants, from high school to college to his first year in the NFL. So to think that's all going to change, hopefully he can get in his head and say, look, if you play this way, you have a long career, a long, successful career. I need you to see that running back in the flat. Just and he can catch too. Swift
is good.
Just give me a check down.
Not as good as Saquon, but he was good.
No. Saquon's the best.
He was good. He was good. I was sad when he left.
Saquon is different. Saquon is different than anybody else. But I think I got to jump in. It's 9 and I got to get ready for my trip. But yes, so 2 weeks.
Will it be the
It'll be just before the draft. That'll be the Monday because today is the 7th. It'll be the 21st. The draft starts on Thursday.
Okay.
So if you want to wait 3 weeks and do a post-draft show,
I'll be traveling back home. So
Okay. So yeah, so we
Oh
can do
no,
it.
actually, the 28th. I'll be back. The 28th is after the draft.
Yes.
I'll be back. I can do that.
Okay, so let's push it out 3 weeks so we can do our draft analysis. We'll have this discussion because I think in 2 weeks we'll just be regurgitating, getting ready for the draft. People can read and listen to the sports pundits for that.
The NBA will, I guess, will be closer to.
Well, the Lakers are making a push now to be the second seed, which is weird, and I think this Luka thing is starting to turn a corner.
We'll see
with LeBron. And
but
LeBron,
it depends on how the seeding is because it's like what 4 teams with like 32 losses and
LeBron scoring is down, but his fourth quarter he's got his legs underneath him because he hasn't had to work so hard in the fourth 3 quarters. So Luka has given them. He's a number 1 option. LeBron has shifted to number 2, and now you got Austin Reeves as number 3. If the role players can continue to knock down threes and do their jobs, they will be a contender. I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but I think if they get the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed to avoid playing OKC, and I think they can beat OKC.
I think so. I think they can, but I don't know. Can they? Will they? See, I think the Celtics are going to win because I think.
Oh yeah. Celtics are more deep.
They're going to like wear each other out in the freaking playoffs. The Celtics, who else? Who do they? I mean, the Celtics got an easy ride. They're gonna be chilling.
The Celtics are gonna be chilling. I think the key for the Lakers is your matchups because if you have to work too hard, then LeBron's only got so many miles on him.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're gonna be out of the finals. So Celtics gonna be like boom, but they're gonna be rested. They're gonna be waiting.
Right, and so if you play 6-7 game series as the Lakers, then that lowers your opportunity. But if you can get teams out in 5, maybe 6, you got a better shot because then you're gonna have more time to wait between series, and that'll give you time to rest. But if you got to go 7 and then you got 1 day, 2 days off, and you got to go again, and you go 7 again, LeBron's he can't do that, and Luka can't do it either. He's not built that way.
Not in the shape.
But Luka got a team to the finals last year, and they weren't.
Yeah, but then what happened?
They ran into the Celtics.
I think it's gonna happen.
Nobody's disputing the fact that the Celtics are the best team,
and they're healthy.
The only time the Celtics lose is when their threes aren't falling. Their threes.
Yeah, I went in the injuries.
Right? Porzingis, but Tatum is durable. Brown is durable.
Yeah. The rest of them, it's just Porzingis.
The rest of them are pretty durable.
What is Kawhi gonna stay healthy during the playoffs? So that'll be like a miracle.
If they do, they're going to be an X factor because they are playing really good ball without Kawhi. With Kawhi now being healthy, they're playing really good ball right now at the right time. So we'll see how they're doing. I think the Clippers are an X factor, and they're an X factor for like those mid-level teams. I think they can give Denver all they want. They can give Houston all they want. The younger teams or the teams that have been there, but they got miles on their legs. I think they will be a challenge for any of those teams because they got a good coach too. Ty Lue's a good coach, so they're not gonna. And they've got, but I don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. I don't. I don't. So that's my blind spot. He hasn't shown me anything in playoffs, and so till he does.
Well, I don't trust them at all. I'm not a fan.
But they're playing really good ball right now, and so
I'm not a fan. I like Kyrie. So. And I like the coach.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
All right. Well, safe travel.